Hi, my name is Vinnie Gupta. I am co-founder and CEO of college admissions company UC Easy. The name stands for University and College Admissions Made Easy. Our mission is to simplify college admissions for students whose parents were born outside the United States. Why? Because that is the life journey of the UC Easy co-founders, including me. So on these lazy Friday afternoon, like today, over a cup of coffee, Java, whatever you want to call it, I would invite some experts who can help demystify certain things for us or answer difficult questions that a lot of parents struggle with. So today we're going to talk about that we are in March of 2020. Why should a junior that will be applying to colleges later this year, why should they engage a professional guidance company like UC Easy at this time versus waiting till August or September of senior year? And to answer that question, I have invited Mr. Dennis Yan. Dennis is a senior executive with UC Easy, Vice President of Customer Success and Customer Enrollment. Dennis relates to the immigrant experience, which is part of our mission. He came to this country when he was really little, went to University of Southern California and Purdue, but very importantly, he's done admissions work for 4 different universities, meaning he's on the other side, reading application essays for reputed colleges and universities, including UC Berkeley and Purdue. Welcome, Dennis. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, Vinny.
So Dennis, every year, and we've been doing this for 5 years, right? Every year we have this question that juniors wait till the senior year to come to us when they feel a sense of urgency about the applications and essays. And every year we and our clients, they realize that, oh my gosh, I wish we had started early. Can you offer some guidance to the current juniors as to why should they think of engaging someone like us at this point of time? Why is it really important?
Yeah, great question, Vinny. So I always tell students that the process to apply for a college really does start at this end portion of the junior year and not the senior year, because at that point, the senior year is when you should be already turning in your application. It's almost like turning in your assignment. If this was a project, the project should not wait till the last minute to start. So there are so many different things that a student can be doing. And to that effect, I have created a couple of slides. So summer planning is one of the biggest opportunities for students to really kind of capitalize on. For us, many students that we've interacted with and that I've interacted with over the years, they just focus on things that are really non-essential. They're once again copying too much of what their friends or their family advice is. So we as counselors will be able to identify what is the right form of activity, whether that be increasing the students' grades or to look to actually find a internship or a research experiment. So these are the things that we will do as counselors. And the other thing is really helping the students and teach them at this point to consider what to write and how to write for a college essay, because these essays are not the same as writing for an English paper.
Yeah, and just to quickly add to that from my own personal experience, Dennis, with both my kids, I remember distinctly that for my daughter who applied about 10 years back, went to UCLA, and my son who went to University of Chicago, for both of them, using summer wisely, it gave them the extra credentials that helped them to go over the line. For my son, I distinctly remember that before we got professional guidance for him, he was actually going to do an internship in the summer between 11th and 12th. But for his dream college, the highly competitive University of Chicago, the professional counselor said that is absolutely the wrong thing to do and offered them or asked him to do a different thing. And finally, he did get in. So I fully agree with you that taking a very objective unemotional view of summer planning is very important.
Yep. And the next thing that the students can really do is to actually create a brag sheet. The reason why this is important is because students are not used to talking about themselves. So they do not know how to brag in a term that is what I would like to say, brag humbly.
Right.
And they do not know how to put these activities in a resume.
Mm.
And the point of all of these brag sheets is to give it to a person later on so that they can come up with the letter recommendations.
Mm.
You have a lot of individuals that you may have to approach. Many universities will look at 2, possibly 3 letter recommendations, which means that you're going to be approaching your counselor. You're going to be approaching a teacher, and you may be approaching someone that's outside of a school environment. And many of them, because they've only interacted with you on a very short term or at a certain point, they don't really understand you on a whole level. So the brag sheet and the letter recommendations and the way for you to kind of connect or maybe reconnect with one of these individuals who's going to be writing these letter recommendations is very, very critical. And you cannot wait when everybody else is going to be going to them once the school year starts.
Dennis, Dennis, you've hit a really, really important point. And just to share with our listeners what my wife, a teacher of 20 years, she keeps saying that every year she writes hundreds of recommendation letters and she loves her students, but she is constantly saddened by the lack of effort that students put into the brag sheet, and just the overall quality of brag sheets that come to her is like, hey, if you are competing for the topmost colleges in the country, these brag sheets in second semester of junior year, these brag sheets have to be a lot more mature than what you are sharing with me. Great point, Dennis.
And the last point that I wanted to say is use the time wisely now to showcase what we call demonstrating interest. The reason why this is important is because many times you are the one that's going to the university, but the universities may not know about you. And it's important for them to have a sense of who you are and to have these constant communications that have been going on. So to that effect, the universities will be hosting huge college fairs across the nation next month in April. So for students who are going to miss out on this opportunity and not know how to connect with these university representatives, you are missing out on a huge part of the process because now is the time that they're focusing on you, because in the summertime, just like many of your teachers, they're going to be off as well. So if you're looking for answers to questions that you want, you're not going to be able to get that. So now is the time to start and showcase that demonstrated interest.
Again, Dennis, excellent point. And the picture on the right of your screen, the one with a bunch of blues, that's a actual college fair, right?
That is an actual college fair where you literally have thousands of universities attending.
So the point that you always make, Dennis, is that universities look for people that really want to go there, and you need to show your interest. There are different ways to do that. You need to do it early and you need to do it often. And obviously you need a professional to advise you on how best to do it.
Correct. Yeah, you definitely want to know what types of questions to ask. You don't want to come off, that first impression is always very important. So knowing how to do that the right way, that's definitely going to put you in the minds of these readers, because once again, this is not a robot that's going to be scanning and looking at grades and test scores, but really understanding readers and human beings who are really trying to understand who you are as an individual.
Excellent, Dennis. This is wonderful information. So if I can quickly summarize this for our listeners, what Dennis talked about is that for current juniors, it's very important to make unemotional and objective use of their time between now and the senior year, including summer, especially if you aspire to the topmost colleges that are looking at so much more than just GPA and test scores. And to able to do that objectively in a manner that differentiates you, you need professional guidance, and the time to start is now. So for those of you that for those of you that understand this message, or for you, if that message makes sense, please feel free to contact UC Easy to figure out how to enroll in our program. Dennis, any last comments before we end this chat today?
Just one last thing for all the families. I would say that even if you think you have a good list of schools, having a counselor look at that list at an earlier time, and to also maybe give you some ideas of schools that you may not have considered, this is a great time to do so, because once again, you have now the opportunity to explore and to make sure that whatever investment you're making in the future is the right one for you now.
Yeah, and there are, as you say, Dennis, there are thousands of colleges. It's just that as immigrants that don't understand the system here, we look at a very narrow set of colleges as we look at the options, but those options, there are gazillions of them literally. It's just that you need somebody like us to find that diamond in the rough for you. And there could be a college that's such a beautiful fit for your son or daughter. It's just that, again, because of lack of information, the immigrant experience, we don't understand that. Dennis, thank you so much for your time today. To our listeners, thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We hope to see you again sometime on these Friday Coffee series. Thanks so much. See you soon.